We are very, very excited. So certainly not least, even though last in the lineup is Axonify. And I'm very excited to introduce our title. It's Transform Your Learning Culture and Drive Business Results in 5 minutes per day with Axonify. And our speaker today is going to be JD Dillon, Chief Learning Architect at Axonify. He's going to guide us through our last demo. So without further ado, here is JD to take it away for us today.
Hi, everybody. Excited to be here with you today. As introduced, I'm JD, the Chief Learning Architect at Axonify. I'm a longtime learning and development practitioner, operations practitioner. I used to work at Disney for about 10 years, Kaplan, the world's largest education company, for 6, until I went over to the technology side of the conversation. And now I work with my team at Axonify to build technology that enables workers in frontline industries around the world. So I know what you're here for today. So I've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to move pretty quickly. But what I want to do is I'm going to let's just dive right into the whole technology side of our conversation, if you don't mind. So, and I'm curious if you've ever been to a technology demo that comes with a stopwatch. So what I want to do is show you just a piece of the Axonify story right now, and then we'll back out and we'll go into a little bit more of the details, the whys, the hows Axonify works the way it does. And then dive back into a little bit more demonstration of the technology itself for our final couple of minutes together. So what I want to do is I want to show you, again, just one example of the experience that people have when they log into Axonify. So in this case, let's pretend that we work at a grocery store. Right? Maybe we're front-end clerks at a grocery store. We work the cash register. We bag groceries, take it out to people's car and whatnot. And if in that organization, Axonify is being used as the frontline enablement, so a learning and communication platform for the grocery store workers, what happens is that those workers will clock in for their shift and then they'll log into Axonify. So we're working in a grocery store. We work at Grocery Galaxy. And I want to show you how quickly that grocery store clerk is going to get through their Axonify training session for today. So we're actually going to run a stopwatch on screen as we go. So let's log in. And today we're logging in as Lucy. So what happens, as you can see on screen next to our stopwatch, is that we can see Lucy's profile. She's still pretty new to the organization, doesn't have a lot of stats racked up at the top of the screen. But what we see today is we have today's activity highlighted. It says daily questions. So what Axonify does is when Lucy logs in for her scheduled training session today, the platform's going to take a look at her profile and figure out what's the best way we can leverage the couple of minutes Lucy has before she gets out on the floor and focuses on doing her job and serving customers for today. And today we don't have compliance training due. We're not working on anything new. So we're going to have a daily questions session, which is actually a reinforcement session. So let's click start and begin our session for today. We see here we're offered the opportunity to play a game. So we leverage casual gameplay to help Lucy focus on the experience of her training today, because again, she might be logging in a busy break room, a busy environment with a lot of noise around, and casual gameplay is not just fun, but it also helps the person focus on the experience. There's a variety of games available in Axonify. Today, we're going to play memory cards. Here we have some instructions on how to play the game. We have the ability to challenge a friend if we want to put a wager up against another one of our peers and say, I'm going to do better than you on today's game of memory cards. But in this case, we're just going to click play now because we're running short on time. So as you can see here, if you've ever played memory cards, we're just trying to match 2 cards with the same image. And you can see on some of these cards, there's actually a question mark. So the flipping over the, this is where you're going to see I'm deficient memory cards, but flipping over the right match of cards is actually going to reveal the question. Note that the question has nothing to do with the game itself. What the questions are based on are areas that Lucy's been working on, and maybe she hasn't been exposed to this information a while. Maybe she's struggling in this particular area. So we're using retrieval practice to help her apply her knowledge. So in this case, how long can perishable foods be kept at room temperature? I'm going to go 2 hours. I'm kind of confident in that one. Got it right. So I earned 10 points. I can see an explanation as to why that's the correct answer. My coach is very excited. Back to the game. We only have 17 seconds left because all the times the games are timed. So someone can't spend their entire day in Axonify by any means playing games. They actually have to go out there and do their jobs. So I'm still hunting for that bird. Someone at home, please scream where you saw the bird. There's the bird. Let's get that match. Oh, time expired. Not a great score. Nowhere near where the other members of my team are when it comes to the score on memory cards. But I have 2 questions left because it doesn't matter how well I do in the game. We make sure that Lucy gets the questions she needs to reinforce her knowledge today. So in this case, I have a multiple answer question. which is about how do I improve accuracy at the cash register. So in this case, I think I should stay focused. I think cash transactions are fine. I'm going to communicate with customers when giving them change. I think that's about it. Medium confidence. I didn't get that one quite right. So we see an explanation of what the correct answer is, because it's not just a test by any means. It's actually challenging people to apply their knowledge so they learn through the experience. So I know next time when I'm presented with a question around this topic, I'm more likely to get that question correct because I'm learning through the experience of applying my knowledge. But I do earn some rewards points. My coach isn't as happy as they once were. Final question of our session: what's an important advantage of generational diversity in the workplace? I think it's going to be people having a lot of unique things to offer. High confidence, got that one right. 10 rewards points. My coach is happy once again. Click continue. And that is the end of my daily training session. So at this point, Lucy can pop into her hub screen here. She can see progress on how she's doing. She can actually see some of the tasks that she's been assigned in the workplace today. Apparently we have some promotional signage that I need to put up. We can also see a variety of communications here. So there's a flash sale that we want to make sure Lucy's aware of when she gets out to work, and a happy 3rd work anniversary for Lucy here on the job. So I can just click got it and acknowledge that I've received those communications. So our administrators can track that, yes, indeed, this individual received that information. And maybe if I have a couple more minutes before I have to get out there on the store floor, I might pop into my timeline here to see if there's any recent posts from anyone in my communities. So it may be people within my store, maybe within my region or my line of business. So from a social interaction perspective, I can share information that I've learned, maybe start a post of my own, or maybe read it or contribute to information that other people are sharing. But if that's about all the time I have, maybe do one more quick scroll of my hub screen here. So see what other recommended content's being provided, or in this case, maybe pop into the top performers leaderboard, which is actually the most popular screen in Axonify. See that, hey, I'm actually at the top of the leaderboard of my team. See how my team or my store is comparing to other teams. But at this point, I think it's about time for me to hit the store floor. So I'm going to log out of Axonify, hit stop on our stopwatch, and I'm going to go out and do my job for the day. So as you can see, we've completed our daily training session in less than 5 minutes. And what I showed to you is just a quick example of the experience that people have with Axonify every day around the world. So let's provide a bit of the backstory. What did you just see? Why is Axonify designed the way it is? And then take a deeper dive. So if you're thinking, whoa, that moved pretty quickly. Exactly. That's kind of the point of how quickly people engage with the Axonify experience as part of their day-to-day work to transform learning into that continuous experience. So Axonify is used by about 3.5 million people around the world. The really cool thing is about 83% of those employees come back to the platform on average 2 to 3 times per week. And when you think about the fact that we specialize in frontline workers, so people who work in grocery stores or manufacturing facilities, logistics operations, delivery drivers, that hard to reach workforce that often doesn't have time available in their day to engage in development, that's an extremely high level of engagement. And we're also used across 160 countries in 60 plus languages. So a big part of the story of Axonify is making sure that everyone has an opportunity to engage, learn, and do their best work every day. And we work with a variety of different types of brands and industries. And some of the organizations you see on screen are probably those that you're pretty familiar with in your day-to-day life. So that's another cool part, I think, at least, of working at Axonify, is that I shop at a lot of the brands where Axonify is used every day. So the Axonify story, what I'm here to talk about with you today, really comes down to this one key point, that learning takes time. And time being one of the biggest obstacles we face in learning and development. Because from an employee's perspective, especially if you're a frontline worker who doesn't have the ability to carve time out of their day because you're heavily managed in your workload, you don't have the time to step aside for extended training periods on a regular basis, right? You're very focused on serving customers and doing your job. At the same time, people don't just learn when you shove a lot of information at people, right? People get very quickly overloaded when it comes to just simply how learning and memory works. So people need time to develop their knowledge and skill on the job. And at the same time, as learning and development, the gentleman on the right, we only have so much time. I have never met the learning and development team that has all of the time and all of the resources. So we only have so much time available to support different types of business needs. And we often struggle to get access to people's time because everyone's overloaded with work right now. So the challenge becomes, how do we overcome the nature of time when it comes to learning and development? And unfortunately, because we have so little access to people, what you see on screen is often a learning strategy, right? We build content, the best content we can, and we push it at an individual, and we hope that it works because we lose access to that individual and their time pretty quickly after a program ends or instructor-led training ends, or they log out of their e-learning module in the learning management system. And what ultimately happens is that you do all this hard work as L&D to create this training, these communication tools, then you push it at the individual, and ultimately they can't retain that much information because we aren't able to revisit, aren't able to reinforce and make sure that that knowledge and awareness transfers. And ultimately their performance suffers. And I'm sure everyone out there, and I know I as a learning practitioner, struggled with this experience over and over again. And that's why we built Axonify. So what Axonify does is it brings together three critical parts of the frontline employee experience. The learning experience, making sure people develop the knowledge and skill they need to be able to do great work every day and execute on the job. The communications experience, making sure people are up to date and able to access information on the job and create that two-way conversation so that people feel heard in the workplace and they're contributing to the success of the organization. And then the operations side of the business, making sure that we're leveraging our understanding of what our people are capable of so we assign the right work to the right people on the job every day. So there's a lot going on inside of Axonify. We need more than 30 minutes to talk about the entire experience. So today I want to double click specifically on the learning side of Axonify, and then we'll highlight some of the key features here and then dive back into the technology to show you it coming to life a little more slowly than I did in our less than 5-minute demo to start. So what we've created within Axonify is a just for you experience. So a couple key points there is the idea that we fit the idea of learning into the day-to-day workflow. That less than 5-minute experience helps us build a habit of continuous learning so people engage as part of their everyday work. So we go from learning in the flow of work to learning as part of the job. We adapt that experience. So we saw when we logged in as Lucy, we take the individual's profile, all the data we have about that person, whether it's their learning profile, whether it's behavior on the job observations, maybe it could be business results, things like scans at the cash register or safety results. And we use that data to say, what are we going to focus on with this individual employee today as part of their training, because this is the greatest area of need. We make sure that people can easily find the information they need on the job to answer questions from a performance support perspective. As I mentioned, we leverage communication tools that you'll see across the platform to make sure people get the latest information and have it in the moments that matter. The entire experience is wrapped in a variety of engagement tools. So you saw some of our game mechanics in play when it comes to things like competition, recognition, rewards, points, leaderboards, casual gameplay. So we leverage a blend of mechanics so each individual user can find the area of the platform that's most interesting or engaging for them. So not everyone has to care about the leaderboard, because in reality, not everyone does. But some people very much do. I can speak from experience. And we make sure that everyone can connect to the experience. So we're essentially device agnostic. I refer to it instead of BYOD as CYOD, choose your own device. So in some cases, we're used on personal smartphones. We could be used on Zebra handheld devices, desktop computers, tablets. My favorite Axonify device to this day is still the screen on a deli scale, because deli scales in grocery stores have these big internet-capable touch screens. And one piece I want to really highlight before we dive back into the platform is the idea of adaptive learning and reinforcement. So what Axonify does is we get to know each individual employee is figure out where their baseline is, right? When you step into the job or you step into a new role or a new topic, where is your knowledge level right now? And we measure that individual knowledge level for each person. Even two people doing the same job, we know, are at different parts of their journey. And then what Axonify does is we nudge each individual up towards that sustained capability. We help you develop and grow at the pace that you need as an individual worker, but at the scale of your business. So whether you have 2,000 employees or 200,000 employees, we're able to personalize a learning experience for each individual. And then what we're doing is we're transforming learning from an event to a continuously always on experience. So surrounding the individual within their workflow with the tools that they need to continuously develop their knowledge and skill to help drive towards the business results we're looking to achieve within our organizations. And that's ultimately what allows us to get a lot of exceptional results with a variety of different organizations we work with around the world. And the cool thing you see on this screen, it's not the logos, it's the fact that they're each actually targeting the experience at different KPIs. So whether it's driving sales results, reducing employee turnover, reducing safety, incidents, or reducing time spent in onboarding. So the idea is that once you embed learning and development as a meaningful part of every day for an employee, we can leverage that experience to solve a lot of different performance-related challenges. And it all happens in a session that averages less than 5 minutes and 48 seconds. And that includes your compliance training that is often done within Axonify, and sometimes those compliance training modules longer than 5 minutes. But it doesn't matter because the average session, that day-to-day experience, still averages right around that 5-minute mark. So that's the quick backstory of Axonify. Let's jump back in to the platform here. I actually do not need my stopwatch anymore, so let's blow up the screen a little bit more. And we're going to come in and show you a couple of other features of the Axonify experience. So I showed you what the kind of daily training reinforcement activity looked like. Let's log back in as Lucy at another point within her journey. Because again, every time you log into Axonify, we're personalizing the experience to you based on where you are in your journey at that particular time. So in this case, we're actually greeted by a broadcast message. So this is an example of one of our communication tools. So here we see we have a video that we can watch. That video can be closed captioned in a variety of different languages. And we see here we could have text, images, a media-rich environment to broadcast a message to part of the workforce, to the entire workforce, to make sure everyone gets the message when it's really important up front. In this case, we're just welcoming a new team member to the team. Now here we're back on our hub screen. We'll notice that we're actually in an onboarding scenario here. So instead of having that daily reinforcement, again, we're looking at Lucy's individual profile and saying, what should you be working on right now? So this is how we automate certification and compliance training. If compliance training is coming due, we'll prioritize that. Here on the introductory screen, it could be an exam, it could be a new topic. So there's a variety of different types of programs within Axonify. Today, we're going to take a look at a path, something that's pretty familiar to a lot of folks out there using LMSs or LXPs. So in this case, it's just an example of an onboarding scenario. Because maybe it's our first time in the platform, we pop a variety of different tooltips within the platform so you have an understanding of how the system works. And here we can see that we have a variety of different blended activities to complete as part of our path. So in this case, just kind of scrolling from top to bottom, we see we have a variety of topics. So these are digital modules. In this case, we see at the top, we have 1 video, 3 questions to answer to earn 15 rewards points. Here we have a task. We're going to do a store walk with our manager. So that's something we're going to go out onto the floor on the job, use Axonify as a guide for completing that specific on the job activity. Here we have that certification module for harassment training. And what happens is after you complete that, we know when you completed it, when it comes due next, we'll automatically serve that up to you at the right time. And then all the way at the bottom here, you see we have evaluations. So this is kind of like a gate to make sure that by the time you complete this path, you're actually ready to go on the job. So your manager, your trainer, or supervisor will actually observe you completing a variety of different tasks on the job. Or maybe if you're a virtual employee, maybe it's something that you complete as a project and you submit information, but various ways that we can use to make sure that you are in fact ready to go. It's not just you completed the training, you have the capability you need to get out there and do the job effectively. And we can also mix in some other activities, as an example, event-based training. So if there's an event that we want to schedule the individual for, we want them to sign up for a session on their own, that can be mixed into the path as well. So essentially what you're seeing is Axonify is a fully featured learning management system with an experience designed for that hard to reach frontline employee that does not have a lot of time in their day, and then transforms learning from that event, that one and done, to a continuous experience that becomes part of people's jobs. So let's, as a quick example, go ahead and we'll hit start on our first module there. This is a video about acknowledging and engaging customers. This content could be inside of Axonify. We could be integrated with a learning management system. So maybe this video is being pulled from another platform and shown within Axonify as part of that experience. I assume everyone here is great at acknowledging and engaging customers. So we're just going to jump to the end of the video. Hope that doesn't disappoint anybody. Yes, you can control if people can scrub forward or if they have to watch the entire video. And then we're going to engage with our questions for this topic. So in this case, we already played a game today. So we're just going to say we're short on time. Maybe we're not a big fan of the gameplay ourselves because you don't have to play a game if you don't want. So we're going to jump in and we're going to answer a series of questions. So in this case, we just have 3 questions to verify our knowledge about the video that we just watched. And what the questions are doing is, again, not just a quiz, it's establishing that baseline understanding. Are we walking away from that training with the right information? And then we're going to use the data from these questions and answers in order to inform the next time we log in and get some reinforcement about this topic. So we'll zoom in to areas where maybe we struggled and then space out automatically using spaced repetition the ideas that maybe we showed a quick mastery of, so we don't waste anyone's time in that way. So our first priority, I'm going to say it's customer service. I'm highly confident in that area. How can we help provide more effective customer service? I think we're going to maybe watch some body language, be aware of what our customers are up to. Yeah, let's do that. And then in addition to eye contact, what's another way to acknowledge your customers? Smile and a friendly greeting. Highly confident. I am doing so well on the customer service training stuff. I did work for Disney, so I'm a bit of a ringer in this particular area. So we see there we've completed our first topic. We can jump back into our path if we'd like to see more. We can just jump to the next module if you want to, kind of like a Netflix watch what's up next type of situation. So we'll jump back into our path. We see that we've completed our topic. We're 10% of our way through, and we actually have to complete 3 items by the end of April 20th to get some extra reward points. So these milestones here that you see on screen where it says shift 1, that helps pace people through the path to make sure they don't try to complete the entire path in one sitting, but make sure that they stay on pace. And then those milestones are reported up to managers or trainers to make sure they can follow up with employees who might be falling behind. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to cover on the path situation. Oh, and of course, you can lock different topics. There can be prerequisites. So you see here that this topic for tips for reducing loss and managing inventory, that one's locked. So I have to complete the topic prior. So you have control as an administrator over how these different paths flow. So in this case, maybe I'd want to work on the next topic. But in this case, I think I'm actually done for right now. So I'll jump out to the hub screen. I see I've earned some badges because it's my first time in Axonify. So I've started my lifetime training badge, and a variety of different recognition tools, again, are built into the platform. That shows you just kind of a quick example of a structured experience, a pathway, in this case as an onboarding example within Axonify, is one of the many different types of programs we can deploy based on each individual employee's need. A couple of other things that you saw as we quickly scrolled the hub screen before. Again, we have the ability to assign tasks. So those tasks may be related to learning and development. They may be related to operational tasks. So in this case, we can see we want to make sure to complete our benefits enrollment when it's due. So a way for you to track if people are completing that work in a timely fashion. We have a variety of different communication tools. Here you see a survey mechanism. So how prepared am I for my first day on the job? I'm feeling very prepared. So I'm going to click very prepared on that one. No, nothing else to say. Now that information's available from a survey reporting perspective. Here we see I can track my progress. I can see if there's more training that's recommended for me, as well as recommended articles from our knowledge base on a variety of different topics that are relevant, again, particularly to me. I can check in on my reward screen. So here's an interesting example of where do those points that I'm earning go? Well, you can actually use them from an auction or a storefront perspective to actually bid on prizes or just outright purchase prizes, or maybe buy tickets to a raffle. So a way to turn that effort of coming back every day and continuing to develop yourself into a tangible reward that people really customize to their individual business culture. So in some cases, you might use gift cards. I actually came up with the whole idea of buying a donation to a charity. So you can get the organization to donate money to charity on your behalf, which I think is a super cool way to recognize people for their effort when it comes to learning and development. So that's a quick view around the hub screen. A couple other things to show you real quick here is if we'll jump into Discover. So maybe I want to do a quick search of the platform. Maybe I'm looking for some additional information about leadership training. So I go in, search for leadership training, and I can actually find there's a couple of articles here, and there's a couple of paths. So maybe here I'm interested in this leadership development path. We can see there's a variety of different activities included here, and I can self-enroll myself in that path. Or maybe my manager would enroll me if they think I'm the next up and comer and I'm the next person who's maybe going to step in to a managerial role. They can take control of that experience and enroll me in some additional learning activity. And then Axonify will customize the experience again and focus me on the right things that I'm working on as I move through the experience. So that's a quick look. Again, a lot more I could go into today. We're starting to already run short on time. There's one other thing I definitely want to show you in the platform while we're here together. That's the manager side of the experience. So right now, of course, managers could be using the same, and in a lot of cases, do use the same tools to develop their knowledge and skill. But in this case, I want to show you the reporting side of Axonify from a manager's perspective. So what we just did is we jumped into what we call Leader Zone. So this is a customizable dashboard. So we turn off a variety of different dials, so whatever you want to put on screen here. But in this case, it allows a frontline manager, so let's say it's a store manager in a retail store, to jump in, not have to get sent pivot tables and spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. They can see who's engaging in training, maybe who's got an overdue certification, who has an upcoming training due, who are the experts within the organization. So it allows me to really take a quick red, yellow, green look at the data coming out of Axonify and allows me to take action based on that data. So if there's 2 people on my team who need coaching, I can click into this tile, see who those individuals are and what topics they're maybe struggling with, and have a more informed coaching conversation during our next one-on-one meeting. The one other really cool thing I can do here as a manager, because I can send team messages, I can dig into different types of reports, but I can also go over to what we call impact. So in this case, what this is showing me is actually my business result data. So this is a bit of a predictive analytics tool. So what you see on screen are my business results projected forward for the end of April. So here I can see how I'm doing. So I'm actually charting to exceed my sales goal for April. So everything's going well there, but I'm not quite going to hit some of these other numbers. But as you see, I'm 98% to goal in call handling time. There's a 0.9% improvement opportunity. So if I click into each of these dials, Axonify actually recommends actions for the managers to take, not just as related to getting people to complete their training, but actually how to improve their business results based on our understanding of what is and isn't working within the operation when it comes to people's knowledge and skill. So we're able to take our understanding of how training is or isn't influencing your outcomes and action that on behalf of the managers so they're stepping in and taking the right actions. So again, that's a very quick demonstration of some of our key capabilities within Axonify. I hope you don't mind I couldn't get to everything today. But again, my contact information is coming up. So if you want to dig in deeper, plenty of things I can share with you in the future. Just a couple of quick things before we wrap up today. One, Axonify also comes with the largest library of frontline learning content anywhere. So we have 750 topics in our marketplace that are custom built to the types of employees that we support, the types of topics that we tackle, and custom built for that Axonify experience. So it comes with module content, video content, and of course, reinforcement questions to make sure that knowledge transfers into actionable behavior on the job. And there's one more thing I want to show you. I think I'm going to have to go through this one pretty quickly. I didn't get a chance to go through the administrative side of Axonify today, but here's one cool tool. This is our content assistant tool. So here you see a quick demonstration of how I'm dropping in source material, in this case from the Florida DMV, and I'm going to use Axonify to automatically write assessment questions. So here I dropped in a PDF, and what Axonify did was it pulled out these key learning points. These are the most important points we want people to walk away with from that source PDF document. And now I'm going to tell Axonify to write multiple choice questions based on those key learning points. And this recording is happening in real time. So as you can see right now, I don't have any questions in this particular topic. I'm refreshing my screen, and now I have my multiple choice questions. So here you can see as an instructional designer, you can pop through, see what the machine wrote automatically for you, and then do your improvements. So if you pop into this question and maybe you think not all of the distractor options are the right options, the cool thing is we've trained our large language model on instructional design principles. So it's not going to do strange things. It's not going to write a true false question, as an example, which I think is a strange thing. So here, we don't want someone driving slowly through the building. So we're going to use an alternate distractor that Axonify automatically created. You could also type in your own if you would like to adjust the question, the answers, the explanation, whatnot. And we're going to click save. So essentially what this tool allows us to do is accelerate the content development process by about 30%. So it allows instructional designers to move that much more quickly. And one other cool thing we're going to do right here is we're going to take all of those questions we just wrote, which are currently all written in English, and we're going to automatically translate them into multiple languages. So as I said, the platform's currently available in more than 60 languages. So in this case, we're going to do, I think, German, Spanish, and French in this case. So we're going to automatically, in real time, translate the questions. Again, how good is the translation? It's as good as artificial intelligence can do right now, which is, I'd say, 85% of the way there in most cases. So we pop back into this question. We can now see that it's available in French, in German, English, and in Spanish. So again, just a quick demonstration of how Axonify is helping organizations overcome this fundamental hurdle that learning ultimately takes time. So that's my quick story for you today. I have 1 minute left to go, so I'll see if I can answer any questions, but here's my contact information. So if I don't get to your questions, which again, sorry for being so short on time, feel free to send them directly to me via email, via LinkedIn. anywhere you can find me, and I'll shoot you back an answer as fast as I can to make sure you get all the information you need about Axonify. And if you want to learn more, head over to axonify.com. Happy to help you understand how you can apply Axonify within your workplace to make sure learning becomes a meaningful part of everyone's job today. So let me scroll real quick. Can we add our own scoring content? Yes. Is a package that we turn over to customers, or do you continue as an admin? I'm not exactly sure what that question means. Will participants receive a recording of this event? I'm not sure. That's more of a question for Alexandria. With that said, great transition, everybody. I'll hand things back to Alexandria. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for everything you do in our industry. Be well. And like I said, shoot questions across my way. Happy to help out however I can. Back to you, Alexandria.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, JD. And thank you to Axonify for being our last demo of the day. And thank you again to everyone for joining us for ATD's very first demo day. We hope that this was a useful, helpful event for you all. Please give us feedback and let us know what you think. If you want future events like this, that is wonderful news for us to hear. So we would love to hear from you. You will receive a recording in your follow-up email, whether or not you attended this event live or whether or not you are watching this recording, the way you're accessing it, you'll get an email to a recording to the entire event of all 5 demos. And you'll also have links to the individual demos in that same email. So if you want to go straight to Axonify or straight to someone else, maybe you missed their live demo earlier today, then you'll have the opportunity to do that. And again, please give us feedback so that we can create future events like this for you all. Thank you again, and we hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Thanks, JD.